I mean, just recently they verified the Shroud of Turin. Have you seen that?
I've been reading about it, and I know that there's some contention, there's some discussion and debate about it, but they used to think that it was only a couple hundred years old.
Yeah.
And now they've changed that.
Yeah, they said no, it's back then.
They also don't understand how it was made, which to me is very fascinating because it's not paint. It's not. They don't know what caused the image itself and how that technology would have even been available.
It wasn't. No.
A couple thousand years ago.
An intense light. I mean, atomic. To leave almost like a photographic imprint on a piece of cloth. And you can see it, that it depicts a first century Hebrew male because the hairstyle was from the first century, and a Hebrew hairstyle, that he was about 6 feet tall, that he was completely scourged all over his body. He was crucified, scourged, beaten, the wounds on the thorns, the hands, the feet, and the scourging. And the hairstyle was from the first century. The pollens that they found in the cloth were from that region.
Yeah.
Also, the weave was a first century weave that was typical. Verified that it does actually go back to that time period. For a while, they were testing pieces that had been repaired in the 13th century.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a painting.
Nope.
They're not exactly sure how it even came about.
Yeah. It had to have been some kind of intense light.
Well, the thought was that even trying to replicate something...
It's like an X-ray vision. You know?
Yeah.
It's like an X-ray. That's what you really see it in the negative only.
Right.
Mel Gibson on your podcast the other day, he brought up the Shroud of Turin. Yeah. And I always thought that was fake. It was like in the 80s.
What is that, Eddie?
The shroud, it's like the cloth that Jesus was buried in and left an image of him. And in the 80s, like 1988, they did carbon dating on it. And they go, oh, it's fake. See that?
Yeah, it literally
I
has
never,
the image of Jesus burned into it somehow or another.
I never looked into it. I just figured it was fake. But listening to you and Mel Gibson talk about it, I'm like,
it's
what?
real?
Is there
Well, apparently it's a lot older than they assumed when they did the first testing. And one of the problems is that there's cross-contamination. There's also been repairs to it. But they did subsequent testing, and they found that it was like 2,000 plus years old.
Yeah, and the one thing, it's the most studied artifact ever.
Damn.
Like particle physicists, nuclear engineers, they all studied it, and some of them, some believe in it, some don't believe in it, but they all agree on one thing: no one knows how they did it.
Right. No one knows how they made it.
There's no paint. There's no dye, because it's a negative image on a non-photographic material. It's linen.
Right.
And then it turns out, like if you look at it with the naked eye, it's white, and then you see the image of the face is kind of like yellow. You can barely see it. But in like 1898, some photographer took a picture of it and then looked at the negative, and then all of a sudden in the negative, the whole body appears, front and back. Kind of ultraviolet radiation, some kind of burst made that image. That's because that image has never been on any other shroud. People get buried in shrouds all the time. There's never an image.
Is there any physical evidence? You know, sometimes I've seen reports that maybe Jesus's face is showing up on a cloth.
Oh, the Shroud of Turin.
Well, the Shroud of Turin is a very fascinating topic of the shroud.
Yeah.
That indicates it may very well be the burial cloth of Jesus.
Some of the evidence now, like when they studied it, they still cannot figure out what put
mechanism,
because the image is it's a negative.
Yeah.
It's a negative on the cloth, but they do not know what the mechanism is that burned the image on there. Now they've done even AI three-dimensional reconstruction because the data in the cloth is three-dimensional.